Well, hello there. It's Joel and Luke here with the band for King Country, and we would like to welcome you to our Ask Anything chat with the good man, Mario Lopez.
So to our On With Mario listeners, we want to thank you guys for your support. And we have a new song called Priceless that is out and about. So we want to thank you guys for hanging out with us.
Samantha from Knoxville wants to know, how do you like living in Nashville?
Samantha, Nashville, Tennessee. We're originally from Australia. And so it was a bit of a just shift coming from the way south, the land down under, to good old Nashville, Tennessee. But man, it's really become home.
It has. And Nashville's changed a lot over the last few years, which is I think helped make it cooler and cooler.
And as far as music is concerned, it is the place to be. It's really about the song and the heart of the song. And as a band, that's really what we've always been about.
Morgan from Prestonburg, what is your favorite city to perform in?
Favorite city to perform in? One of my just all-time favorites, because of the geography of it, is Seattle, actually, Washington State. It just is. This is a beautiful city. And every time we see that, just even going to Washington State as a whole is always exciting for us. So I would go with Seattle just because I just love that city.
Jelena from O'Fallon asks, will you guys ever collaborate with your sister Rebecca St. James?
So dear Jolena, well, so for those of you who don't know, our eldest sister was an artist for many years by the name of Rebecca St. James, and she's kind of gone into retirement recently for about the last 4 years. She's a mum and a wife and very much enjoying that part of her life. And so, I don't know, we've talked about it. We actually talked about her featuring on this current single, Priceless, but it's yet to be. So, to be determined.
Hold tight.
Audrey from Berlin, what are your favorite songs to perform live?
Favorite song to perform live is a song called Run Wild. We open the whole show with it. It's probably the most complicated song that we've ever written.
Bit of a spectacle.
Yeah, a bit of a spectacle, but it as far as the song is concerned, it took us about 3 weeks all in all to write it and record it, which is a very long time. And then when we started performing it, I think that we felt the release of, we've put a lot of time and effort into this song, and so when we got to perform it, we just fell in love with it. It's got a lot of energy, and I would say that's definitely our favorite song to perform.
Bria from Chambersburg, when did you guys come up with the work of Priceless, and why was it such a strong message for you?
Well, hello, Bria. So when the band started about 5.5 years ago, Luca just got married. I met my now wife at his wedding, and simultaneously we started playing shows. And so this idea of relationship, commitment, romance was very keen on our hearts and minds. And one of the tangible things we did was we brought over a whole bunch of Australian coins. We framed them, made necklaces out of them, and we called them the Priceless Necklace. And so everything from the song to the film, which is actually what we're doing here today, supporting and promoting this theatrical film, Priceless, and even the novelization, the book, all came from that little coin.
That little trusty necklace.
Olivia from Covington asks, how did you two get your start in Christian music, and how did you form the band?
So we got our start in music. Joel mentioned prior that our older sister was an artist, and so we actually grew up out on the road. Joel was a stage manager. I was a lighting director.
Dad managed her, and we joked that he needed cheap labor, so he put us all to work.
We made nothing growing up, serving our father and sister. I'm just kidding. But anyway, we kind of got our start being out on the road there, and we got to see the power of music in people's lives. And so I was about 19, and Joel came to me and said, hey man, what do you think about working on some music? And so we started writing some songs, singing on some demos, kind of saying, we'll just see where this goes, and we've been doing it ever since.
And we're still 19 and 21.
Still there.
Amy from Birmingham, what's the craziest or most memorable thing a fan has ever done?
Amy, we were just talking about this today. I don't know if this is the craziest thing, but
it's
one of our supporters has taken upon herself, first of all, to vote for me for president. She has an Instagram account dedicated to this whole idea, which I'm not an American citizen, nor was I born in America, so that's actually not possible. And then secondly, she has cut out my head and places me on various peculiar in situations. Today, what was going on today?
Gymnast.
I was a gymnast today. So
with Joel's head on it.
You know, it's kind of funny, but also
I've always wanted to see what Joel would look like as a gymnast, so it worked out pretty well.
There it was.
Katie from Brunswick wants to know, what are your any exciting plans for 2017?
2017. Well, we're actually, I don't know if this is exciting for you guys, but exciting for us that we're actually taking the first few months to kind of just chill out, work on some new music, and kind of live a little bit of life so that we have something to write about. And then in the summer, we're doing an awful lot of fairs and festivals. So we're looking forward to that. I think we get to go on a cruise to Alaska.
Yeah, we do.
Which is kind of fun. So
And we're releasing the DVD of this film, Priceless, as well.
The first 2 months of the year.
But the hope is to write a record next year and record a record, so keep an eye for that.
Tara from Pittsburgh asked, when is Glorious coming out?
Tara, you are keeping
up with the Joneses.
You are, yeah, because we've not really even officially announced that. Glorious is an original Christmas song that we wrote this year. We worked on it from February till about 3
I think
weeks
it's safe to say that we'll probably release it sometime around Christmas.
Yeah, so keep an eye out for that. And we're doing a Christmas tour, and we'll play it as part of that tour.
Abigail from Hickory asked, what is the one song you guys have written that has affected you the most?
I would probably say there's a song called Shoulders that every time that we perform it, oftentimes we write these songs and people think that we're writing them for others, and sometimes that is the case. But that song was written personally as a reminder to me, just where does my help come from? And so every time that we play that song, obviously I feel slightly affected by it, but to see the thousands of people out in the audience that is, that's very, very special and definitely affects us on stage.
Yeah.
Emily from Marshville asked Joel, what is your vision like, and what colors do you see without your glasses? Does color blindness affect your job, and did it affect you when you were filming the movie?
Yeah, because he runs into me all the time because he can't see me.
Emily, for those of you who don't know, first of all, I have color deficiency, pretty severely. Reds, oranges, yellows, browns, greens, they all sort of blend together. And so it doesn't affect me day to day. I have a bit of trouble with traffic lights. Yeah, that's a bit of a problem.
That's pretty bad.
Yeah, but for the most part, other than you'll notice I wear a lot of monochromatic colors because I can't match very well. So other than that, I'm pretty okay.
Question for Luke: how's your little boys and wife? From Maureen from Vancouver.
Courtney and Jude and Phoenix are doing very, very well. They are at amazing ages of 3.5 and 1.5, so they've become quite the buds, and obviously it's always amazing when I get to bring them out. Probably 15, 20% of the time between some of the family. I would say one of them is at least out probably 20% of the time, so that always makes road life super enjoyable, and obviously you miss them terribly when you can't be with them, but we get to have a lot of unique experiences together, which I love.
Another question for Joel. Maria from Texas wants to know, has Mariah taught you Spanish yet?
Maria from Texas.
I don't think that Mariah knows Spanish very well.
She does. She understands it very clearly. She is a bit. She's not as confident as she could be in speaking it, but she has wanted to teach me. She's had a few attempts at lessons, but it's not really taken.
It's not sticking
so far.
Dana from Coatesville wants to know, which one of you whistles?
Me. I whistle, Dana. I actually whistle pretty well, and in different ranges.
That's all I got.
That's for any dog or cat. If you ever do that, they're a bit frightened about that.
He's a cat lover.
And for our last question, Tiffany from Cuseta wants to know, how did you guys propose to your wives?
Wow, Tiffany.
That's a good one. I don't think I've ever been asked that. I was in Nashville. There's a walking bridge, and so I knew that my wife wasn't going to be expecting this. But when I asked her to be my girlfriend, I walked on this walking bridge after a Coldplay concert. And I asked her to be my girlfriend. And so I took her out on a really nice date, and I thought, how cool would it be? We were facing one direction when I asked her to be my girlfriend, and when I asked her to be my wife, there was nobody on the bridge, and we were facing the opposite direction, getting to see the beautiful...
Except me, I was on the bridge.
Yeah, whatever. Getting to see the beautiful skyline of the city, and that's how I proposed to my wife.
Tiffany, my wife, is a California girl, but she was actually in Nashville, and I secretly flew her family in. And it was very simple. We actually met at Luke's wedding, speaking of how he got engaged.
Yep.
We met at Luke's wedding in a sort of a restored factory. And so I took her back to that same location because I had to pick up something from there. And that was the story I told. And I came in and I had rose petal, leading to a chair and all the rest of it. And The crazy thing is, she didn't pick up. She was walking down the rose petals. She thought someone else was getting engaged. It took a bit of time.
Oh, that's good. All that to say, thank you guys
Yes.
for hanging out with us, for all your
To
questions.
Mr. Mario Lopez.
Yes.
And
Thanks
to
for having us
all
on.
our Ask Anything chatters, thank you for your questions. And we'll look
Maybe we'll
forward
do
to
it again.
We are on with Mario Lopez and off now.